This is None Defense on the Grublet account here on the team Grublet YouTube. We're just rolling along, doing our best to go up in stats as of right now, before the end of the op. We have the highest leaderboard position reached is 1,632. We are currently underneath our highest amount of force points held at 12,174. When the op ends, hopefully I'll remember to check that again on video, and then we'll be able to do a little comparison. Okay, so we did not win the op. It's a dang shame. Hearts are broken. Tears are falling. The rainbows are drooping in the sky. The birds are just, they're humming instead of singing. Sad day for everybody. It was a good op though. All in all, things went really well until they went wrong, and we're going to go over where it went wrong specifically. This video will have a controversial opinion. And this is a controversial opinion that I've had for many years, and an argument that I've had with many players many years. And this is my opinion. It's just one opinion. I'll never ask my team to change the way that they think, and they're not going to have much luck in changing the way that I think. My job is to review what happened and then look at it. And consider other options when things go wrong. So here we go. Let's do my job. So, on Maze. Maze was the one that ultimately got us, so we're going to hyper-focus on Maze. So this is Big Sal. Big Sal led things off. He's a good dude. Speed things to just 4 speed. He's going over here, working through these power cells. Or working in the area of the power cells, but he was over there specifically focusing on getting rid of those shock blasters in the power cells. And then he's going to go up here. He's going to start clearing this area. The goal is to expose these 4 shield generators, and once they're gone, things will be a lot easier. So as we go through here, as you can see, he's making his little opening. But that's a heavily defended grouping of shield generators. So it's not going to be easy. So that was that. Next attack on Maze. Alright, so this is Spindrift on the Spindrift account. I'm guessing he was intended to go over there and do some flaring. Or do some hacking, excuse me, and just didn't happen. He lost his critter Everspark right away, so that's an oopsie goofy. But he gets over here and he starts working this side, just opening things up, making magic happen. Not bad, not bad. We are getting there. Next up, Boom Bitch Angie, driven by yours truly. Just getting around, going up there, taking the long path. Zipping up here. With the goal of, just like before, we're going to continue to try to work those shield generators. Now, as you can see, it went fairly well for BBA. And then took it a little bit further and started opening a spot for the final victory to stand. After Boom Bitch Angie, Grublet went in, and he did a bombing run. Get over there, eat a few cells, bomb those shock launchers. Did a little flare up here, up to the top there, ate a few cells, throwing critters, getting rid of all this stuff that's going to cause any of my teammates problems. So that's that boom cannon. That was all those mines. You're seeing it. We're seeing this together. And I know you're thinking, oh, but what about that controversial opinion? It's coming. It's coming. So you'll see. So there's the, there was the, got rid of that boom cannon. Then after that, I did a suicide flare and a tactical retreat. Alright. So far as of that point, things have gone okay. You know, things are starting to open up on that side. And then is where it starts to go wrong. Alright, so now we're going to look at Don's attack. And there, dear Don, this is where it starts going wrong. And I don't blame Don, I blame the tactic. So ultimately, we decided to go over here and try to get these 3 shield generators. And here's where the controversial opinions come in. This thing was ready. If we could have just sent another big attack just over here to do it again. At the time, when this was all said and done, alright, before the final attack that we get to, just remember this thing was down to 5 million health. That's important. That's an important detail. So then Don goes in again. So this will now be 2 big attacks. And remember, I'm not blaming Don, I'm blaming the tactic. The tactic. Ultimately, what I'm saying, team, is... And I've seen this, and again, this is the debate that I've had with many a big players over many a year, so this is not new. None of this is new. The problem is sometimes we spend so much time and energy trying to do the really complicated thing, we forget that the simple thing is just right over here. It's right there. That's where the simple thing is. So, let's do a little bit of speculation. He goes over there, dies, twice now. Or he goes over here, twice, and clears some stuff. He could have worked this side, he could have worked this side. That's why Grublet bombed this boom cannon, just to give a little bit extra space. Like, it was possible. We could have loaded up the right troops. And we could have went in and just kept clearing the side. It was right there. But I know the big players, and they're going to say, no, you don't understand. The ops and the metas and the big bigs. You know, they always get the shield generators. It's like, well, we didn't. We did not get the shield generators. We sent troops over there and not got the shield generators. So, what exactly happened? So now here they are. Gem Class Stud, he figures he's a hero. He's a big player. They never do anything wrong. Never make mistakes. So what's his plan? He's going to try to go after the shield generators. Now, I'm also willing to admit that had he got them, you know, had they been gone, this thing would have been, you know, it certainly would have been a lot easier to beat. So I'm not saying it was a bad attack. I'm just saying when you get to compare choices. So here we now stand. He managed to get one. At the end of this attack, the shield generator was at 5 million. 5 million, right? So now we'll watch Munt's attack. So Munt was upset. Not upset like, you know, mad and, you know, spitting vinegar. Just, you know, the same as any good player of a game. When you don't win the game, you just want to start looking at the other things. Well, you know, what went wrong? But his question was, who ate the power cells? I did. Proudly. Stand by it. Best decision ever made. So, remember, this thing was at 5 million, right? That's important. That will come into play. Just going down there, just beating the tar out of it. Beating the tar out of it. He just went straight at it. Okay. Now let's go look at what's left on the health of the core. All right. So he managed to knock down over 2 million health there, all without destroying a single extra thing. So I ask you, my viewer, to just consider what might have happened if we had spent those 3 attacks that barely did anything positive over here. What if we had spent those 3 attacks clearing this stuff? Crazy, right? I know. This is an argument and a debate that I've had with many players over many years. It's never going to change. I get it. So, but there's my controversial opinion that, guys, history shows we went here and it didn't work out. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't ever go there again. That's not how I run teams. That's not my thing. I just want everyone to at least consider that 3 huge, very powerful and effective attackers went here and did nothing when they could have gone over here and did a bunch. And then, had that happened, Munted, I'd wager, could have stood here quietly, just right there, just quietly and just happily, and this thing would have been open, it'd have been beautiful, and he had spent his 3 minutes just beating the hell out of that core. And I'm confident he would have got it. And as a one final point on that, so just in case you're thinking, yeah, but if we hadn't had done damage to the shield generators, there would have been a lot more than 5 million health on the HQ there. Okay, fine. Well, this particular battle, now I know technically it was not a difficult battle, but that's not what I'm talking about. As of when None Defense did this attack, there was over 7 million health on this core. So what did None Defense do? Instead of going around chasing shield generators and trying to remove the health that way, None Defense just goes right at it and removes the health that way. So I went with all bombardiers, and I just laid the rain. So, this is just a little thing that I'm always going to ask all of my teammates to consider, all my super high powerful ones, the ones that, you know, have been to the top of the mountain and are now looking down at the rest of us. And I have to say, I have to ask them, couldn't we have just gone to the left side and just keep beating the tar out of it? I mean, we go in, we're prepared to lose troops, we're prepared to die. That's not a problem. So, in these moments, and I know Maze concerns a lot of people. I get it. And I've watched a lot of videos on how to, like, you know, do it mega style, and everybody, you know, goes in and does all this fancy stuff, and when it works, it works. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. Chef's kiss. But when it doesn't work, you have to consider other options and opportunities. And if you can't do that, then I don't know, you're a closed-minded player. Me, I'm an open-minded player. I acknowledge it could have worked, but here we have on video evidence that it didn't. So let's think about that. If we're going, so my lesson is, if you're gonna go over here and get the shield generators, you have to get the shield generators, and there can be no other options. It didn't, when I did the Grublet attack, it didn't even occur to me. It didn't even occur to me that we'd have spent time going over here. And the reason it didn't occur to me is because, again, all this was over here, just waiting to be dealt with. Just waiting for it. Just waiting for it. Just park right here. Right here. Shock, fight, shock, fight, shock, fight. 3 attacks in a row. Munted stands there all by himself. Hero of the world. Those are my opinions. Controversial as they will be. And somebody's going to get upset about my perspective here. Whether they comment on it or ever hear about it again, somebody's going to get upset. Why do I know that? Because someone always gets upset whenever I call out scratching the fancy stuff and just doing the thing. I love a fancy stuff, big fan of fancy stuff, but I also love just doing a thing. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. That's the video for today. I want y'all to know that despite this, we're still going to keep pushing. We're still going to keep going at it. We will keep trying new things. I've still got to work on a few tricks myself. Personally, I have never stood on top of the mountain, so therefore I don't have much experience on looking down at the rest of them. But I am quite comfortable looking up at the top and saying, what the hell kind of planning was that? That's just me. So I don't mean to be a goofball. I don't mean to be, you know, a lesser-minded simpleton when it comes to Boom Beach. But I do know one thing. If you're going to try a thing, that thing better work. And if you didn't try a thing, you might need to consider another thing. That's just living, in my opinion. Alright, so we went ahead and started the new operation. We are staying on deep cut. We are not swayed by the fact that we lost. Stuff happens. But it is now time for me to go ahead and wrap this video up. Friends, I want to thank y'all so much for taking the time out of your day to hang out with me. If you ever have any opinions, controversial or not, please let me have them so that way I can relay them to the people who need to hear them. And yeah, let's just go ahead and close here. Y'all have a beautiful day. Thank you.